Niantic has finally broken their silence regarding the Hear Us Niantic movement, and I guarantee you a lot of players are not going to be happy about this. I'm going to be talking about what they said and what my thoughts are in this video, so let's roll the intro and get right into it. Hey, how's it going everyone? It's me, it's Jinsula. I hope you're having a good day, and welcome to today's Pokemon Go video. Okay, so recently, .esports.com interviewed two people from Niantic, and both of these people you might be familiar with. It was Michael Steranka, who is of course the director of Pokemon Go, and John Fontanilla, who is the senior producer of Pokemon Go. I'm sorry if I butchered her name. But in any case, they actually gave some insight on how they internally reacted to the Hear Us Niantic movement. And it was actually very interesting, and it's something that I was just not expecting. Of course, for the past couple of weeks, they've been radio silent ever since the Hear Us Niantic movement launched on social media, and it looks like we actually did get to them. They were fully aware of the Hear Us Niantic movement, and they said that they were actually reading all of our tweets. I'll put a link to the article in the description below, but basically, they did hear us. They totally understand why we are upset about the decisions that they made, and according to Michael, this was not a decision that was easy for them. I mean, Michael Steranka even said that he did close to 99 remote raids per day. And you know what? Let me just say this. I have actually met Michael Steranka. I've done one-on-one interviews with him in the past, and I have to tell you, he is pretty legit. Like, he actually plays Pokemon Go. Some people would not believe that, mainly because he is the director of Pokemon Go, and he's the one that's making all of these decisions, but I think he's legit. Like, I actually think he's someone who obsessively plays Pokemon Go. And yeah, that is because I've done a community day with him, and I've totally seen how he plays. But when it comes to the remote raid pass nerfs, like, it seems like he did them reluctantly. Like, it doesn't seem like he wanted to do this, but he felt like he needed to do it. Now, let me explain. Basically, they have a very different view of Pokemon Go compared to us as players, right? Like, when it comes to the developers of Pokemon Go, they have a roadmap that they can look at. They can kind of understand how the game is meant to be played, like what their original vision was, and they have a whole bunch of metrics that are not available to the public. So they can kind of see different trends and different gameplay behaviors that we as players are not fully aware of. They were probably looking at all of that data internally and came to the conclusion that remote raids needed to be slowed down in some way. Of course, the way that they went about it is not something I agree with, and I do not think a lot of players are happy about. Like, for example, the price increase to remote raid passes, I feel like that was completely unnecessary. If their goal was to limit the amount of remote raids done per day, then that's all they should have done. Like, the increase in price was really not necessary if they were going to put a hard cap on 5 remote raids per day. If it were up to me, I wouldn't have gone as far as they did when it came to the remote raid pass changes, and I don't think they are going to revert the changes, but maybe they can meet us in the middle. That's something I'm still holding out hope for. Now, in this interview, there was actually something I was actually really unhappy about, and I really hope this is something that Niantic reconsiders. Michael Steranka and John both said that they were choosing not to acknowledge the Hear Us Niantic movement, that they fully were aware of it, they were actually reading a lot of the tweets and replies regarding it, but they decided not to make an official statement as a response. They feel like, and I'm quoting them, actions speak louder than words, which I can kind of agree with, but one action that you could take is at least acknowledging the Pokemon Go community. A lot of players are extremely frustrated about the remote raid pass changes, and if you are going to double down, then you need to at least communicate to the community that you did hear our frustrations and our feedback, but you're still choosing to double down. Yes, a lot of players would not be happy about that, but at the very least, you would be acknowledging the Pokemon Go community. You would be communicating to us that you did hear us. You're just making a decision that doesn't fall in line with what players want, and I can understand that. And then from that point on, you can pledge to add a lot of gameplay mechanics and gameplay features that will kind of make up for the lack of remote raids. But You know, the only way you're going to get players on board with all of those upcoming features is if you acknowledge the community. This is something that I tweeted out directly to Michael Staranka, that a lot of players that I talk to, a lot of people that I interact with Pokemon Go, they are the ones that are saying that they just cannot bring themselves to be excited about upcoming features because they feel like Niantic doesn't respect their players. That is absolutely a running theme among all of the communities that I'm a part of. A lot of people feel like they should be excited for Shadow Raids, but it's really hard for them to get over that hump of feeling disrespected from Niantic. As long as Niantic is not acknowledging the community, it's going to be really difficult for the community to be hyped up for the game. So yeah, actions do speak louder than words, and if you want to make up for the frustrations that the remote raid pass changes caused by adding a whole bunch of really exciting gameplay in the pipeline, well, in order for you to do that, you need to make right with the Pokemon Go community first. I mean, for myself, I want to be excited for upcoming features within Pokemon Go, and I want to be excited for Pokemon Go Fest, which I bought a ticket for, but it's really difficult for me to do so, mainly because of how I feel towards Niantic. They could do a lot of amazing things gameplay-wise with Pokemon Go, but it's going to be really hard to generate a lot of excitement and hype because of how sour the Pokemon Go community feels towards this company. But yeah, in any case, that's going to be it for this video. Maybe you didn't realize this, but I had my dog on my lap this entire time, so I apologize if I looked a little uncomfortable. I didn't want him to be walking around on the floor and I accidentally roll over his feet. But in any case, yeah, I just had some thoughts regarding this interview that I wanted to share. And, you know, when it comes to Niantic, I do think there are passionate people in that company. There are people who actually play Pokemon Go at that company. I just feel like their voices are not that loud, and yeah, maybe Niantic could do something about that. But let me know your thoughts regarding everything that I talked about. I know there's going to be people who will not agree with some of the things I said, but ultimately I want to create a conversation. So leave those thoughts in the comment section down below, and let's have that conversation. And if you ended up enjoying this video and found it to be informative, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if it's your first time here, and don't forget that little bell so you can stay up to date on whenever I upload videos. And also consider becoming a patron on my Patreon if you want to play with me within Pokemon Go. For every single one of my patrons, I actually add them as a permanent friend on my friends list. So if you want to remote raid with me, if you want to build a friendship level with me, then do consider becoming a patron on Patreon. But yeah, in any case, that's going to be it. I'm Count Jinsula. Be safe, have fun, love yourself, and I'll catch you all later. Say bye, Freddy.